Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. I don't have my chair right now because it's a little wet right now. So, but I want to make sure we're still on track and on time. So, um, we're gonna do some to set the tone here for the movie we're gonna watch. We're gonna I got some dad jokes to kind of break the ice here. So, guys, so what do you call a dinosaur with extensive vocabulary?
A thesaurus?
Yes.
Thesaurus.
Okay. David.
Wait. No. I'm not. I have another call. Call. I have to. No, I'm not interested in the car insurance. No. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm here. I am
Everything
here.
okay, David? Everything okay, man?
Yeah, it's telemarketing is like at an all-time high now, so it's just something we got to deal with. Anyway, what's up, guys?
Okay. No, well, just sharing some dinosaur jokes real quick. I hope everything is okay. Okay.
Dinosaur jokes?
Yeah. Guys, why can't you hear a pterodactyl go to the bathroom?
They're dead.
Because the P is silent.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And all right. Well, wait. What's going on here? Wait. What's going on? Wait, guys, my mouse is stuck. Guys, my mouse is stuck right now. I can't. I don't know what's going on, guys.
Oh my God, it's Andy in 30 years.
This is. Guys, can you hear that?
This woman was filmed without consent.
Yeah. Okay. This is. Oh my gosh! I can't take it off, guys. It's stuck.
Is this the dinosaur joke?
It's guys. It's stuck. I can't take this off.
Pediosaurus.
Guys, it's stuck. I don't know what's going on. Oh my gosh! I have to start over. Okay.
Not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hang on.
They call him Samurai. He speaks fluent Japanese.
Are you Fujiyama?
Hang on.
You having some tech problems over there?
Was that the intro? That's what we're doing this time, Andy.
Was that audio coming in, by the way?
Yes.
Good.
Sadly.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
I was starting to get a panic attack. I was like, turn it off.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Be Real with Andy the Game Maker. I am your host, Andy the Game Maker. And of course, on my episode here, we have Mark and David once again with our new guest, Mr. Nathan Ellis. Nate, would you like to take a moment to briefly introduce yourself to Mark, David, and those who are watching?
Yeah, I've been a friend of Annie's for a long time, Army vet, and now I'm a writer-director in the film industry, and I also have a machinima channel called EE Studios where we make movies in the game Star Citizen. So super niche, but if you guys want to check that out, it's EE Studios here on YouTube.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I have a question, Mark. A question for Nate. Is that a Munchkin cat?
Yeah, that's well, hold on. That's Bart, and there's another one, Winnie, who you might see patrolling. She actually is the boss. So
You have two Munchkin cats?
two Munchkin cats, which makes a full cat when you put them together.
I don't know if you all know Munchkins, the breed. They are like dachshunds, but for cats. They were discovered in the 60s because someone in California just found a stray in the street that just had short legs, and then they just bred them that way.
Yeah.
And they're the cutest things in the world.
It's so great to have someone who actually knows what a munchkin cat is.
I have a dream that I want an exotic long hair munchkin, like the smush nose cats, you know.
Yeah.
But a munchkin variety. They're not easy to find.
And a long hair, so it just looks like a gliding mop, like a a cat head.
Anyway, so I didn't mean to cut you off, Nate, but that is. Oh my God, there's the other one.
That's the boss, Winnie. She's the boss.
I love it.
Andy, Nate's allowed back.
Yeah. Well, I knew you guys would hit it off for more reasons than one. So really happy to have Nate on this episode. So I gave you guys, I prefaced this episode by having you guys Jurassic Park. Does anyone have any guesses what that might be? I know David took a stab at another Asylum film, but I promise you we are not gonna go down that route again. At least not for a good while.
I'm itching towards Velocipastor, but I don't think we're at that phase yet.
That's a good guess.
That's actually a great guess, because that's actually what we're gonna watch. We are gonna watch Velocipastor. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna preface this movie. Let me see here. Let me go ahead and do this. All right. So Velocipastor, who's made in 2018. It's an hour and 15 minutes. And the synopsis of the film is: after losing his parents, a priest travels to China, where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur.
Wow.
At first horrified by this new power, a hooker convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas.
Nate's like, this is it? We're going to watch this.
We are going to watch this.
I already have a headache.
Yeah. And so let's see here. And we're going to go, let's do this. And here is the filmmaker who made Velocipastor, is a gentleman by the name of Brendan Steer, writer, editor, producer. Born in Connecticut, raised in Montana, then Pennsylvania, before finally immigrating for New York City. Brendan Steer is a director, writer, editor, and producer. He has subsequently lived in Paris, Berlin, and now resides in Los Angeles. He made his feature debut with the horror thriller Animosity in 2014, and follow up with the horror comedy Velocipastor, based on the viral, it says right here, based on the viral 2011 short film of the same name. In addition to these features, Steer has worked numerous times as a screenwriter and editor on projects of many lengths. He speaks 3 languages and has a sick rock band. So, all right. And then, yep.
I like how he makes it nice and obvious that he wrote it. You know, like I know that a lot of people write their own bios. It's how it goes, but I appreciate the little nod at the end of like that. Yeah, I wrote this. This was me.
or maybe just accepting responsibility so no one else has to. Like, there's no pointing of the fingers.
Yep.
You know,
that's fair.
Yep. And then lastly here, all right. And here is the main lead for Velocipastor, Greg Cohen. And Greg Cohen right here, he's actually been in some more notable productions as of recent. These are some of the most well-known films that he's done. Probably Where's the Smoke is probably the most highly regarded, 8.2 stars here at IMDb. But he's been on things like productions like 911 Lone Star, as well as American Horror Stories. So I'm, for his sake, I hope that this helped, beef up his resume, if you will, this film. So I guess we'll find out a little bit whether or not it was worthy to put
Well, there's
there.
Nowhere to go but down from the legend of Long Ball Larry and Short Dick Daryl.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Well, that's one way to put it. And it's a short.
Yeah.
It is a short.
Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Title implied.
Yeah. All right, hold on. And then we're going to do one more thing here. As per, let's see here. Forgive me. I'm fumbling around just a little bit on my end. Okay.
He's too busy thinking of those dinosaur jokes.
I am. Yeah. And then lastly, over here, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to watch the trailer for Velocipastor to lead this up. Okay. And
Are cats fighting for the window?
Yeah, Winnie gets, she's the boss.
all right. I bring you Velocipastor.
You can follow me home.
I'm in.
The Velocipastor, a troubled priest. How long has it been since your last confession?
Oh, it's been about 2 years. I do drugs, sell drugs, murder people.
The Velocipastor, a beautiful girl with a dark past.
Last night was amazing.
What are you talking about?
The time you turned into a dinosaur and ate someone.
What?
That was good. That was a good line read.
Helping people. This might actually be the first time in your life you can.
Love the outfit.
What, killing people?
Yes.
So you got better shit to do. Show me I'm the one disfigured.
Punk rock band.
It would be incomplete without it.
That's insane, Doug. God does not want people dead.
Oh, I think God wants a lot of people dead.
Oh,
I'm in. And initial thoughts, guys. What do we think? Anything stand out?
I'm always the first one to chime in on these. Everybody else is reticent. Honestly, so I am generally not a fan of the like self-aware I'm purposely making a bad movies.
Same.
And so I'm very highly skeptical of them. I will admit that trailer, the kind of the shots, the framing, the jokes as far as where it was going with the exploitation, lighting and framing is better than I expected. The editing was a little different than I thought. I am more hopeful about the movie than I was before the trailer.
Yeah. Nate, what?
Yeah, I think I agree with Mark. The self-aware bad movies, I prefer it when you watch someone who really gave an honest, like all they had, and it still sucks.
They call him Samurai. He speaks fluent Japanese.
Are you Fujiyama?
But with that said, I think it'll be fun to see how well they made it look bad, like how skilled they are at making, like, hitting all those tropes and making it purposely bad. I mean, you can get really bad if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, Black Dynamite was a huge hit, right? And Black Dynamite, I think, in a lot of ways, was the big crossover of that they knew they were purposely making this like bad spoofy movie, but like it was undeniable almost, you know?
Right. Right.
But I mean, a lot of slapstick comedies are. I would have, you know, with you think they'd be like self-aware. Like I immediately think about, for example, like all the Naked Gun movies, like Airplane. In that regard, I mean, like I'm not sure how they.
Those aren't bad movies though.
Those
just
were well done.
comedies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas, but like almost to be the maybe a little opposite of Mark, I kind of like bad movies that are bad for the sake of this is a bad fun movie that you could hang out with your buddies and trash, and like that's the point. And it still brings some kind of joy in and of itself. So I kind of dig that. So like what we're about to watch is clearly bad, and it's still going to be really good. Like even though it's horrible, but it's still there. It's still good, you know.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, and there is definitely a difference. Like I did not like what was that Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I didn't like that, but I did enjoy more. What was it like Jesus Christ Zombie Slayer?
vampire. Yeah, vampire.
Yeah, you know, like there is absolutely play within that genre.
Right.
You know, there is a spectrum.
Or things like Llamageddon, which is like in the same caliber, but yeah, Llamageddon.
Llamageddon?
Llama. It's a llama from outer space that shoots laser beams from its eyes.
Explosive.
And was that post? I'm guessing that was post Birdemic, right?
That's a great question. I know it was in. I know it was in the 2000s. I don't know how recent. But
yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I know you have a heart out, David. I'll stop talking.
No, we're good. This is good. This is good. This is all great. So, all right. Any final words before we indulge in Velocipastor?
No, but I'm excited.
All right. All right.
Any last words?
Any last words?
You know what? Actually, here's my last words. Andy, I've been enjoying the asylum. Thank you so much. This is this is gonna be fun.
Oh, for sure. This is gonna be a nice little break from asylum. I actually have a good one for the next one.
I just want to know if Joey Fatone shows up in this one.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Is it flickering your end, or is it just me?
Just you.
Okay.
It's unrated. This is the unrated version.
Oh, no, it's not. It's rated X. No,
we're gonna see dinosaur penis.
Oh, perfectly timed.
All right. Oh.
Hey, you wait a boy.
Super tiny.
Well, they're about the same size as regular cats. Their legs are short.
That's so funny.
He's my funny boy. He's your bunny boy. Yes, he's your bunny boy.
That's hilarious. That's cute.
He's my friend.
Well, oh my goodness. And for those watching, you're probably wondering where David is. David had to step away to deal with certain matters, which we will address later. But oh boy. So I don't know how we start this, but I guess I'll say at first I was like, okay, like I was actually somewhat optimistic based upon the style. At least the way way Brendan Steer was stylistically setting up the film. I was like, okay, this might be pretty decent, but then to the point that you guys were making, that it just quickly did a nosedive like a third of the way into the film.
Which, look, there's a lot to like in there, and when you watch movies like this, what you're going in looking for is you're finding things to enjoy. Mm-hmm. You know, because if you're watching it otherwise to like critique it and think that you're better than the film, then like you're doing it the wrong way. You know. Yep. And there is a lot to like in that first act. There's a lot to like after that too. But like, yeah, it's just you're absolutely right, Andy. It's the third of the way through. It's just like, boop. And even when there are like moments where the jokes and stuff bring it back up, but then it's like in the Matrix 3 where they like go up through the clouds, you know, for like a second, and then they just go right back down into the lightning storm and the shit. Yeah. And so go, you know.
It's like a nice little analogy there. Actually, okay, so I have this queued up. I think we ought to watch the original trailer for this movie.
Okay.
Was it?
I go ahead, Mark.
Was it the original trailer or the original like viral video?
That's the viral. Yeah, the viral video used as a trailer, not the trailer that we watched. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So okay, we're gonna do this. Bear with me just a sec. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. So the original trailer, which was made in 2011.
Oh my God! Okay, he's literally using Suspiria music.
I'm glad you took some time for personal reflection. Did you find Mongolia to be peaceful?
I found no peace in Mongolia, Father. I fear change has come over me. I began to feel strange whispers from within my soul. Violent phantasms.
Such thoughts are exceedingly normal in hours of crisis, Father Jones. Nothing to fear.
No! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus Christ!
There's the same dinosaur. There's his dad.
What have I done? What's happening to me?
There's a reason for everything. God has a plan. Something good is going to come from this.
You understand, Carol. I lust for the flesh. I long to hurt people. Kill people. All the time. What must I do?
Hurt the right people.
Looks like the same girl.
What?
Every drug-dealing murderer you've ever said came into your confession booth, you said it yourself 100 times. Some of them are beyond help.
I was speaking hypothetically, Carol.
I'm not. Kill them.
Kill them.
You stand at the edge of a very grave precipice, Father Jones. Do not let these urges take control of you.
Why shouldn't I give in to them? I've been given a gift.
Sick. Sick, Father. Don't you see that? You need medical help.
My science. There's no known cure.
I don't care what this thing is or where it comes from. It's formed a path through most of my men. I want this thing found, and I want it dead, dead, dead!
You've got $1 billion bounty on your head, though, Jones. What are you going to do?
What I do best.
I can rid the world of this scum with my bare hands. Don't you see, Father Stewart? I'm on a mission from God himself. You're insane, Doug. God does not want people dead. Oh, I think God wants a lot of people dead.
Nope, there's a...
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like traumatized from the film that this is like killing me. Like, and enough.
Okay.
All right.
So this is like going back 10 years now. A filmmaker friend of mine who's he's quite successful. He's very good. I'm a big fan of his. He's one of my close friends. He told me an idea for a movie he had. And it was about Vikings who get transported in time up to the current time, and they see the Super Bowl trophy, and they think that the Super Bowl trophy is the Grail, is like what they're lurking for. So then they become a football team, the Vikings, and the movie is about them, being actual footballers to win the Super Bowl, to get the trophy. And he wanted to call the movie Fantasy Football, right? Now, I responded to him when he told me this idea that I said, and it is very mean, and I would not say it again, but I said to him, Joe, are you sure that that's a movie? Are you sure it isn't a tweet?
It stinks.
Right? And I think about that a lot, because when you're coming up with ideas for things, understanding the correct medium for them is hard, but it's painfully accurate. There are certain things, whatever. My favorite movie should not be a painting. My favorite movie, like Speed Racer, makes for a terrible book, right? Like, it's just, you have to figure out the right medium. And I really think that trailer, there's a reason that trailer went viral, and he was able to fund a movie based off of that trailer, because the medium for that idea is a trailer. You know what I mean? Like, it's perfect. Or a short film, or, but like just sustaining itself over 90 minutes, or I'm sorry, it's 71 minutes long. It's just not the correct medium. It's like trying to make a painting out of a fart joke. This is a competent. Okay, I'm gonna go. Okay, this is a competent but lifeless montage. I think all the rest of the movie so far had a momentum that this montage did not have. Am I crazy?
No, I agree. This derailed the momentum.
Although his shirt choices and his like jacket choices are very like nice late 70s. You know,
I got a lot of vibes of. I'm not sure if you guys seen Kentucky Fried Movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you remember Kentucky Fried Movie, and so like, it's actually great. It's actually really entertaining. But like Kentucky Fried Movie, it's like a whole bunch of condensed skits in the film. It's not like one single like story arc, right? There's no like actual like storyline necessarily. It's just several like short little like episodic things that happen in the movie, and it's really funny. It's really tongue in cheek. It's the I think it's the very first slapstick comedy, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty much, people point to it generally as like the originator of slapstick.
Yeah, and I got a lot of vibes of that from watching this, but it just felt like, I don't know. I mean, the good thing about Kentucky Fried Movie, though, is that you had these exit points from each little joke, and that was the end of it.
In conclusion, Your Honor, I would like the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to listen to a tape.
And then it's just sort of like, this feels like they tried to extend like one single joke from Kentucky Fried Movie over the course of like 75 minutes. It just doesn't work.
And hell, that doesn't even work at the highest levels. I recently rewatched I Love You, Man, the like Paul Rudd, Jason Segel thing, and because I think about jokes from that movie all the time. Like, there are so many incredible scenes and incredible jokes and incredible character interactions in that movie. And I was like, why don't I watch the movie again? And I watch it and it's like, oh yeah, because the movie is shit. Like, it as a film, it is really bad, even though there's at least like 55 minutes worth of like real good jokes in it.
So glad Robbie hooked this up. This is awesome. This is awesome.
Me too.
Isn't this great, man? I love soccer. Here we go, Galaxy. Here we go.
You know, like, and that's at the top. These are all the people making I Love You, Man are like the 2% of filmmakers, you know? And so like, what hope do the rest of us have? You know? Like,
yeah.
That's a whole nother topic. But I think have you guys seen Dolomite?
Oh no, I haven't.
Dolomite is a really bad movie that's really good because it's so bad, and they were very serious making it. The original.
It's with Rudy Ray Moore.
Rudy Ray Moore,
yeah.
It's so when I was watching this, I know this isn't that. This is self-aware. But Dolomite, like, why can I watch Dolomite from beginning to end and have a great time? Mm-hmm. And I think there's something powerful about when you know someone's trying very hard or working, being serious, that doesn't get old because you're constantly watching it like, oh my God, like, look how bad that is. And, you know, this, not to beat a dead horse, but yeah, this was like the same joke strung out, and it just got, I started getting like anxiety watching this because I'm like, geez, like how much longer?
and knowing you're on camera the whole time, being like, am I reacting appropriately? Like, is this okay?
And then the trailer was like PTSD. I was like,
yeah, it's one of the things that we talk about. You know, well, I have to just set the record straight, Mark, because apparently, if we go to, because I actually have the Kickstarter right here, and their Kickstarter.
It was Kickstarted?
Yeah. What are the numbers on this thing?
Right here. It did not succeed. Yeah, it was. Funding was unsuccessful, and I actually, yes, this looks like a failure, but to the point, though. I mean, one of the things I do respect, Brendan for is he still figured out a way to make it happen, right? He didn't let
of course.
They've made their money back and more, I'm sure.
Probably. I mean,
if they put it out to the world. What is this on? Where did you find this?
YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Oh, so okay,
Yeah.
so it's not even on some distribution platform of some kind.
No, it's not like on Netflix or anything like that.
Okay,
but
then they
yeah.
probably didn't make their money back.
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like maybe there's a subculture out there who just enjoys. I mean, there is. There's a subculture of people who watch B movies. Hello, and talks about stuff like this. And there are probably going to be some people who are interested in it. But unfortunately, I haven't seen. Go to Brendan's IMDb. He doesn't seem to be working. At least I guess he's actually no. They're making a sequel.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's figuring it out. I mean, this got, pardon me, this got like the fact that David was able to guess that this is the movie we're going to watch, right?
Yes.
Shows that this was put in front of the amount of eyes that a film with this budget could only dream of reaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, yeah, maybe he's not getting hired for other things, but he's working on this again. And I looked it up on Wikipedia, and according to Wikipedia, which we know is just the best for this sort of stuff, it says it tried twice to crowdfund it, and both of them worked, first through Kickstarter and then through SeedSpark. And then the film received funding from which the term, as we talk in independent financing, is film financing is dentists. This like who of $36,000. Yeah, Nate, you're laughing at this because like it's just what it is when you go for those private funding. Basically, what you're looking for is somebody who your parents know or somebody who your uncle knows who has some money to invest, and you get them. If the budget was $36,000 on this film, like, yeah, you can find dentists in the Northeast who live in like Westchester who are like willing to throw $36,000 at their friend's kid or whatever, and like on a $36,000 budget, this is an unmitigated success. Unmitigated. It's fantastic. Like I don't like it, but
I think to go off that point, Mark, one thing I was thinking while we were watching it is he loves what he's doing. They're really having fun. And as filmmakers watching that, I think that makes me feel good. I'm like, they're having fun. They're having a good time. Maybe the regular audience would be turned off immediately. Like I know probably my family would watch this and turn it off after 5 minutes. But like we watched it and I'm thinking like, they're having a good time. Like this looked like a lot of fun to make.
Oh, he can fight.
She can too.
Right.
Andy asked the question often after we watch these films of like, was it worth watching? And me and David often reply of like, you literally just murdered my morning. Like, what did you do? And this is not that. And I think you bring up a really good point, Nate, that like you can tell when there's fun being had, and that means something. And I think that's a really good point. I don't regret watching this movie. This movie might come up, at some point in a conversation for me in the future, which is cool.
Yeah. I one of the things I do think is redeeming. I actually did enjoy Greg Cohen's performance from time to time. There are moments where his expressions were really good. It was perfectly played in certain moments, like the way he looks. And again, to that point, I think he's really getting into the role. I think he's really trying to again have some fun with this, and I think that really shines in some quite a few moments in the movie. And I really think that again, like you could definitely tell that they're having fun just by the style choices, right? With the the way that scenes are lined up or cut close to side by side in certain shots, and even the montages. They had some fun with the montage sequences, but again, like it just felt there were moments where like sometimes those montage moments were like this is just killing time.
There's an art to every film should be entertaining first and foremost, and to sustain the entertainment of it is the hard part. And I think what you were saying, Eddie, with his performance, I think the film in general, there were points in the movie that it was really hitting like high notes for what it is.
Yep.
And then it would do this, and I think there's a whole art here to make a purposely bad movie that's entertaining all the way through. And that's something I have yet to see. I don't watch a lot of these kind of movies, but this was a little bit too much like this. It was like entertaining, and then it wasn't, and then that's the same gag over and over again. It just got worse and worse. But I did think his performance was really good at certain points, and the movie was really good at certain points for what it is.
You know, you bring up a really good point. I don't think I have seen a like perfect, like paradigmatic, like purposely bad film. You know, I don't know if they exist. And the best ones I can think of are like Wet Hot American Summer gets close. But in the end, Wet Hot American Summer does take itself seriously enough that to sustain it. And then when David Wayne went back to the well and tried to make a movie that was purely just like bad for bad's sake and making fun of itself, what is it called? They Came Together, right? It's like a rom-com parody. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work as well. And it's because you need to like, there needs to be some level of self-seriousness to sustain my 90 minutes of attention.
Your story really is like a corny movie.
I know. The only difference is it's not a movie. It's our real life.
I feel like the best purposely bad parody movie is probably so good that we don't know that it's purposely bad. Like maybe Dolomite is that movie.
No. If you know enough about Rudy Ray Moore biographically, no. He was going for it. He was swinging for the fences. Dolomite.
We've got to make it. Let's get out of here.
Well, no, but that's the point, though. I guess when we first, started the conversation leading into the movie, where people make these self-aware bad movies, but it's I almost feel like the good versions of that would be like the slapstick comedies, like your Airplanes, your Naked Guns, and I think that's they accomplish everything you want along the way, and you're entertained. You're not like, oh my gosh, when is this going to end? And you're still enjoying it. At the same time.
I'm thinking about the thesis right now because it's a really interesting question, right? The issue presented is, why is there not a perfect, purposely bad movie? And I think my hypothesis answer is twofold. One, because you need to be in sync with why it's bad. And if you are a bad filmmaker, then I'm going to stop liking your movie for reasons other than you wanting me to stop liking it, because you're making a bad movie. If you're a good filmmaker, then you can't help but let your competence shine through. And now all of a sudden it becomes a competent film. And so once it's competent, then it ceases to be bad for bad's sake. And so like, I don't know. I wonder, I'm interested. And any viewers who have these like idea of like, oh no, this is the perfect, purposely bad movie, let me know. Because I would love to watch it. Know that I think Black Dynamite should be 15 minutes long. I think that if it were, it'd be the most perfectly, purposefully bad movie in existence.
I think it might be fun, thinking about this as a filmmaker, to oversee a project, like bring a team of people who don't know what they're doing together and have them make a movie, and as a filmmaker oversee that process so that it doesn't go totally off the rails, might be a way to make the best purposely bad film ever. Because then you can create a wall between your competence and their incompetence, where yours doesn't bleed through enough. Like, you're not allowed to touch the camera. You're not allowed to, I don't know.
Right. You know, I'm thinking of a thing. I'm trying to think of the name, and
it almost sounds like Movie 43 in some way. Like, where it's just stitched together. Forgive me, I haven't actually seen it, but from my understanding of Movie 43, it's again just a whole bunch of sketches, but it just doesn't work.
Have you seen the movie? Have either of you guys seen the movie? This is, by the way, Nate, this is continuing in the tradition of me on the show bringing up something super hyper elitist and douchey. But like, I got But have you guys seen the film Symbiobiopsychotoxoplasm?
No.
Okay. All right. It is one of the coolest, most amazing experimental films made. And it was made in the 60s by his name's Robert Graves, right? William Greaves. Cut that out. William Greaves. And so what he did was he did exactly what you're talking about, is that he hired a film crew to make a movie about this thing. And they're like, here's a script or whatever, kind of. But then he hired another film crew to make a documentary about the film crew making that film. And then he hired another film crew to hire. And so it's this kind of constant circle. And then the finished product, the editing product, is cutting between all of these different things that you have no sense of what reality is. And it's, you have no idea how much of it is made up, what is actually scripted, because you learn that like the first documentary film crew that he hired, he actually had some stuff scripted for them, you know? And so like, but not all of it. And so nobody knows what the finished product being made is going to be. And it's only Greaves who like can put it together. The film is amazing and weird. And I would love to see a version of that is like, actually just instead of the aims that they're trying to make for that film, make it to be like, can I make a film purposely bad? Right? That's like, that's a really cool question. Anyway, every viewer, watch that movie. You'll hate it. You'll hate me. You'll send me hate mail. I don't give a shit. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. Elitist comment done.
No, for sure. Oh my goodness. But like, what else is there to say about this movie? Because again, like it just, I got like, it's so funny because one of the things calling back to the beginning, the very beginning of us, or maybe this wasn't even caught on the recording, but Nate was showing off his Donatello Ninja Turtle. And I bring that up because I kind of got some Daredevil vibes from this movie as well. Being that he's got this dark side and he's trying to go after bad people. Kind of got the Dexter thing going on, and there's there is that Catholic motif kind of overhanging the movie, right? And that's why I kind of think of Daredevil immediately when watching this movie. But that's a bit of a reach.
Hey, you got to reach for where you can. We're making a video. Video's got to be showable to people. They got to.
There he is. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So I'm gonna give 2 recommendations.
Yes.
That if you want to watch bad movies about dinosaurs,
oh boy,
you can watch them. First, you should watch a movie called, obviously, if you haven't seen Roger Corman's Carnosaur, you should watch that. That was like pre-Asylum, like, oh, Jurassic Park's a big hit. Let me, Roger Corman, let me make a dinosaur picture.
Yeah.
But it's Corman, and so like it's really entertaining. And based off of that, what I heard, the movie was shot on like with all of the props from Carnosaur that somebody just bought like at an auction and then like made another movie out of the Carnosaur props. And that's called Raptor. And that came out in like 2001. And guess who's starring in that movie, Andy?
Oh no.
Andy, guess who stars in it?
Roberts. Eric Roberts.
Yes.
Oh, Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts. So like, oh, this is like the 4th episode in a row I get to bring up Eric Roberts or whatever. But so Raptor, amazing. And then if you like people's hands turning into things, right, that are different than what they usually are, you should watch a movie called Curse 2: The Bite, where someone gets bit by a snake and then his hands start turning into snake heads. It's amazing, and Jamie Farr is in it. I think it's his last on-screen performance before he died. R.I.P. Jamie Farr. And those are movies that are not purposely bad. They are just awful. So there you go.
It's funny you bring up Carnosaur because I haven't watched it, but I know that I'm familiar with it because of the guys at Red Letter Media. I think did a review on it. Yeah.
It was one of more of the famous, like, because it came out in the 90s. So it was one of more of those famous, like, cheap movies or whatever, late era Roger Corman.
Yeah. And it has, someone's in it. It is, I want to say, like, no. I'm trying to think. I thought someone was in it. I can't remember.
Oh, there are people in it. Absolutely.
No, for sure. Clint Howard, for one.
Johnson. Yes, sir.
Sure.
Clint Howard. And I was thinking Tasha Yar from Star Trek Next Generation, but I think she's in another movie that they review. That's why I was looking it up real quick. But oh my goodness, yeah. I'll definitely have to check those movies out. Maybe add them to the list.
They're fun. Well, and what's her name stars in it in Carnosaur? It's she was in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Jennifer Onion.
No.
Diane Ladd.
Diane Ladd. Yeah, Diane Ladd is in. Like, you know, it's one of the Corman specials is like, because Corman has such a reputation in Hollywood. Like, he gave Jack Nicholson his start. He gave James Cameron his start. He gave, you know, like, he has a rep. So these like aging actors who aren't working anymore, like, you know, Corman knows them and they know Corman, you know, and so they'll like show up. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, Nate. I tend to do this. I don't know if you've watched the previous episodes, but when I run out of stuff to talk about with the current film, I'm like, there's some other shit that's really cool. Check it out.
The movie's so bad we talk about other movies. It's just
so I might embarrassed to say this in a way, but Eric Roberts was in a movie I helped write back at USC. It was
why are you embarrassed?
We had to adapt one of James Franco's books into a screenplay, and then we made it into a film. And Eric Roberts was one of the main characters. He actually did a really good job in the film, but I know he was in Top Gunner, which I didn't see yet.
Well, what we were talking about, Nate, what we were talking about in the episode, me and Andy were talking about how like Eric Roberts just is known, has a rep for being one of those guys like Danny Trejo, who like, if you ask him to be in a student project, if you ask him to be in something, he's like, yeah, how can I help? You know, he's like just really
super helpful,
like,
super friendly. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he ends up being in a lot of movies that like I end up watching.
There's no value lost from that.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I got nothing less to say about I mean Velocipastor. I guess the other question I have for you is maybe we touched on it, but would you recommend Velocipastor to anyone?
My worst enemies, maybe.
Maybe other filmmakers who can appreciate people enjoying making a film.
I was going to say that a little slightly different than that, but like, I think if you are a budding filmmaker, I think that the lessons you can learn from watching this film are really important, especially if you want to make a comedy, especially if you want to, because it really, look, like I said, I don't know if you'll end up editing that part in or out during watching it, but like, you know, I was in and made one of these style movies, one of these movies that was like, we have no budget, so we kind of got to make fun of ourselves and we'll make a movie that's about having no budget and being bad, you know, and it's really hard to pull off. And you can tell that there's some good comedy in here, that some of the ideas are really good.
Why don't you hop on out? Your mom and I will take a drive. We'll pick you up after priest college.
After priest.
Thanks, Dad.
That's the sort of thing that, like, if this weren't a self-aware movie, we would latch onto that moment. You know? But like, it can't sustain itself. And as we kind of talked about at the beginning of this discussion, we're wondering if it's even possible. You know.
So I guess the other question is, like, how does this compare to like with like the Asylum films? I'm not sure, Nate. Have you watched any films by the Asylum at all? I mean, they made films like Sharknado. That's probably the biggest one they made. But I guess some of the films, I guess to summarize some of the previous experiences, is that so we've watched Atlantic Rim, we watched Top Gunner, and then we watched His Way Home. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with like their business model, but it's like this. So basically, anytime there's a major release coming out, they start prepping for a film with a similar title, and as soon as that film is released, it'll be released either on streaming or on DVD in hopes of, you know, to Mark's, as Mark states it, you know, you're going after confused grandmas, like, oh, I think I heard about this, and they opt in and they purchase this, and that's basically a business model that's worked out really well for them. I mean, they've made several films to date. I mean,
oh my God, they've made like 100. They made 100, probably more, hundreds.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's. I'm trying to pull up the list right now.
And Nate, well, while he's pulling it up, and Nate, just because you're a filmmaker and you understand, they're one of actually the last companies that was still using foreign pre-sales as a business model, because they would talk to somebody and, like, you know, a guy in Japan would be like, well, if you throw a dinosaur in there, or if there's like a hot white lady in a dress, then we can sell it for $25,000. And they're like, $25K, fine, that's enough, you know.
Right.
And so they still use that model as well.
Unfortunately, I can't give you a number, but I think this should just say it all right here. I mean, look, going back to 1999, I mean, just look how long this goes for. I mean, this goes on and on and on and on.
I think I saw one that said 18-year-old virgin.
Oh yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But just goes on and on, you know.
I saw my friend's name, and she had a blue line under her as a director. She's one of the few people who's directed silent films who has a blue line.
Ape versus Mecha Ape.
Yeah.
Andy, this is the show's program. Your show's programming for the next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we get to get into something then.
Yeah, for sure.
So because you had brought this up too, like how is this compared to this? And we talked about this a little bit about how Asylum shows that there are like different types of independent or low budget films. There are low budget films that are trying to be something more, and then there's low budget films that are like, this is the exact budget I have a business model, I'm going to follow that business model and make X amount of money, right? And I think it's hard sometimes to mine comedy. It's hard to mine enjoyment out of them for different reasons, you know. And I think we did a good job with mining the enjoyment we can out of Asylum films, right? That there is, you understand and appreciate what they're trying to do, and then the limitations are like, you can laugh at them because it's awful. That like Top Gunner, you know, the military base, there's 5 people working at a military base with the fighter jets. You know, like you need somebody. The pilot should not be the one fixing the fighter jets. You know, that's ridiculous.
What are you doing up there? You doing some stunt flying or something?
Yeah.
You know, but like with these, you know, and these purposefully bad low budget movies are kind of a different breed of that, and you have to find enjoyment out of it in different ways from the actual comedy that they're trying to mine from it, you know. But I think that it's a fruitful way to go, and like, because it's hard, as someone who has watched thousands of bad movies in my life, it's not just as simple as like picking a bad movie and watching it, right? Because like there are bad movies that are just not enjoyable to watch, and then there are bad movies that, like, I don't believe they are bad. I do not believe the pedestal of value exists. I believe that if you enjoy something, it is good. If you don't enjoy something, it is bad. That is it, you know? And so like there are these movies that technically are bad, but they're good. They're good movies. It's just finding those is hard because there are a lot more bad movies than there are like movies that aren't actually bad, you know?
Yeah. And just, you could tell that this is the approach for like this film, after having watched like 3 different Asylum films, is completely different. Even just from a craft perspective, it just, granted their budget is a little bit differently. I mean, it's like student film versus like something that appears on like the Sci-Fi Channel. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
That's basically like the way I kind of summarize like the look and the feel of it, like an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode versus like, you know, student film basically. But and not to mention, I don't know. I feel like they at least tried to make something of a story here, and I will say this about this film is it is creative, although it's kind of like, to your point about, you know, your comment about like the fantasy football idea, that's more of a meme than it is like an actual storyline. You know what I mean? Like it's too condensed to really make something out of it, or at least it's hard for me to imagine. Maybe there's something there. I don't know, but again, like, this is something completely different altogether, because like the Asylum films, it just, again, they're just like, to your point, they need certain things in there to make sure that the movie sells, and that's it. And those are profitable though, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's worked, you know?
And I think, and also even for our purposes, like I think Atlantic Rim was like worth watching. Like I think there was a lot of stuff in Atlantic Rim that was like enjoyable, you know?
First round's on me, son. Jesus, you know how to make a mess.
They couldn't get a better shot of that. They couldn't get a better shot of that.
Nate, we like swear that they added Katrina B-roll footage in there.
Atlantic Rim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, please note, there is no such thing as an Atlantic Rim. That doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like a Pacific Rim is a thing. You know, there isn't an Atlantic Rim.
Yeah. But like those films though, it does feel like that they were running out of good content to put in there, and it just felt like stuff dragged on momentarily, you know, from time to time. Although I will say I think this one dragged on much more than like Atlantic Rim, or even, although I think Top Gunner was pretty boring. So I think this is probably the same as like Top Gunner in some respects. Although I don't know,
level, I was perpetuated. I was transfixed in Top Gunner by whether or not that relationship was gay. Like no, I mean, like, I'm serious. Like, I was transfixed by it because I was like, "There's no way that you are not making this a gay relationship, you know, or at least like a gay love interest, you know."
Yeah, it was like at the line. It's like it could have been. It was so close to crossing the line. They're like, nope. It's like,
yeah, and that's the sort of thing. I don't remember if I brought this up on a previous episode, but like with Birdemic, I remember watching Birdemic and I got fascinated because I really wanted to see each next scene, not because I wanted to see what was happening next in the story, but because I wanted to see what new way this filmmaker was going to make to screw up his next scene. You know what I mean? Like, it was interesting. Filmmaking was so alien to him. It was like the first time he'd ever seen a camera, that watching the movie was like, it's this amazing propulsive experiment of like, oh my God, how is this a human trying his best? You know, has this person not seen a film? And so I think that there's always an element of that in things like Top Gunner or in whatever. And you can you can find that through line. But if it's purposely bad, that through line doesn't exist. You have to get the joy in other ways, you know.
For sure.
Was Top Gunner, is Top Gunner purposely bad, or are they trying to do a parody? Like, what is it?
No, it's the confused grandma angle. They're trying to they tried to release Top Gunner on the exact same day as Top Gun Maverick, but in DVDs so that confused grandmas would get it. Low budget, you make your money back that way, foreign pre-sales, just like,
which it probably worked. I mean, it probably worked.
They made a sequel to Top Gunner.
Yeah, and
Top Gunner.
And no, I think it's Top Gunner. I think it's Top Gunner Danger Zone is the second one.
Yes, it's called Danger Zone.
But yeah, they just and that one, unfortunately, it didn't line up to the release date because Tom Cruise is like, nope, got to push out the release date for Top Gun Maverick because he wanted to make sure it was perfect. It was great. I enjoyed it. But yeah, it's not much to be gained from that film. I mean, there were some good moments though. I mean, like, I don't know, but because I think about like we're sitting here in postmortem with Atlantic Rim and Top Gunner, is we think about the moments that we were just like, oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. Like there was a scene in Atlantic Rim that I recall is Mark's reaction to the freaking when they use the what was the weapon on the mech?
The railgun?
The railgun,
yeah. Yeah.
He just they're on a beach, fighting on a beach, and then just indiscriminately just destroys a building, like
a beach city. They're in like, I don't know, Virginia Beach or whatever, like somewhere in Florida. And he's like, it's time to use the railgun. And I'm like, oh no,
it's like,
no, don't use the railgun. And then obviously he like blows up a hotel or blows up whatever with the railgun. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah.
Can't give anyone guns.
Yeah. But the thing that I will say, I guess what also separates this from like the asylum films is we I mean, maybe also because I set it up this way, but we recognize this from it's an auteur endeavor is really what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Written, directed by one single person's vision, where they're trying to push it along, and I really can't grasp that from watching any of the asylum films necessarily. So no,
they're showing up. They're having their coffee. They're getting paid. They're getting work done. Yep. They want to get it in the can. They get what they need to in the can that day, and then they leave. You know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut that. Okay. Cut that. Well, I was going to bring up something that I thought of a while ago, but it seems like we're wrapping up, and I don't want to keep us long.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, guys, it was just fun watching, commiserating over.
Commiserating.
Yeah. That's good.
Over Velocipastor. Again, there were some enjoyable moments. I had some fun watching some of it, and I could tell that they, were probably having fun making it too. Probably be careful about who I recommend it to. I mean, I guess the other thing is, I want to ask you this, Mark, but like, would you recommend Atlantic Rim to anyone now that it's been some time has elapsed since we first watched it?
Well, it's not so much time that has elapsed, but it's that we have watched more asylum films that I do not think have reached that level. I think that Atlantic Rim is the top of that asylum. That if you want to see I think I would only recommend it in the sense that, like, if you want to see the kind of stuff that Asylum is aiming for, like, this is it. And there is enjoyment out of Atlantic Rim. I will not be watching it again unless you pay me to, like, if that's an answer to that question. But
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, this is great. This is fun. I really appreciate the time you gave to watch Velocipastor. I was really excited when I saw the name. I was like, okay, we're definitely watching this. Just the name alone, it was enough to hook me.
Which is, I think, what got it the $36,000, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And again, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thanks everyone for stopping by. And if you have any recommendations on anything else we should watch, drop in the comment section. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. All right, see ya.
I'm getting a phone call. Hey,
Carol's wounds are healing up faster than we.
Wait, no, I'm busy. No, wait, I can't talk now. I'm on another meeting.
Thank God.
What? What the hell is Lyco?
I think she's ready right now.
No.
Did you want to see her?
No, guys, I'm sorry. I gotta go. I got a problem here. No, I'll call you back. I'll call you back.
Carol.
No, you hang up. Hey guys, I'm sorry. I gotta go, but I quite enjoyed this Velocipastor thing.
Carol.
Good luck.
All right.
You, David.
Okay, David.
Yeah.
Right. Hope everything's okay.
Me too.